So I was initially pondering just unhinging my jaw and screaming into the heavens to start this video.
Please don't.
But I think that would scare away people who aren't familiar with this channel and my hyperfixation with this franchise.
Honestly, it's just a rude...
What the fuck is this?
It's a... Look, I know we're excited, but that's just a rude way to say hello, honestly.
Unhinging your jaw and screaming into the heavens?
Yeah.
It sounds like a Night Vale greeting.
It really does.
Really
That's how
does.
they greet each other in Night Vale. I was thinking something along the lines of, hello, horror fans?
We're sitting in the wrong places for that.
We are.
All right, now that we're 3 levels of inside joke deep in less than 30 seconds, I'm Katie.
I'm Megan.
We're looking at the FNAF trailer, which dropped today apropos of fucking nothing, I guess. My birthday is tomorrow. Happy birthday to me.
Yeah, they did it as an early birthday present.
Early birthday present for my ass.
Blum did it for you, Catherine.
They knew I'd be at Disneyland tomorrow, so they gave it to me on a night that I could watch it and record. I'm so happy. Thank you.
They were like, oh, you're gonna go see those animatronics? I guess.
Well,
whatever.
What if we give you these other animatronics first? So you can think about it while you're sitting there going, it's a world of black. None of that, we're gonna get copyright claimed.
To quote
Jurassic Park.
The Pirates of the Caribbean don't try to eat you when the ride breaks down.
Yep. Yep.
So for any new people to the channel, do you want to just give a little thought on what this franchise means to you?
For any new people, I have a vlog that's like, God, 6 years old at this point, just talking about FNAF. Turns out, despite not being the biggest horror person, I am super into the haunted animatronic subgenre. And just fucking love it. And FNAF is one of those franchises that wiggled into my brain about the time the second one dropped and has not left. Because for a while there were enough gaps in the lore that I could lean in and go, okay, but how does this work? And try to tear it apart. And now we have, like, the Afton Dynasty and Remnant and Will and Agony and God knows what else. And I'm just like, alright, it got complicated.
I lost the threads of the plot. Anything that happened after the management simulator, after
FNAF 6.
Anything that happened after
Pizzeria
FNAF 6,
Simulator.
Yeah, I like do not keep track of canonically anymore.
And let's be real, I
lost the thread. Yeah.
I love the latest one. I love it so much. It is a tire fire of a game, but I fucking and my brain's just like, but what's it called? And I'm like, I don't remember, but it has Glamrock Freddy in it. Like, my brain will not give me the name now. Me. I love this franchise. Shit. Also me.
Now
Security breach.
That was it. I was gonna say, oh no, now I'm blanking on it. I feel like sitting down for a pop quiz and all of a sudden all the answers leave.
It was a whole ass glitchy mess, but also I love it because it was just like, and if you follow me on Twitter or Tumblr, you probably got me losing my mind over lore and trying to figure it out while it was going down. Yeah, so the FNAF movie has been in the making for 1,000 years at this point. Licensing hell, scripting hell, production hell.
I'm pretty sure that the movie tops have been, burn in hell, you son of a bitch.
Good night, everybody. With the one you should not have killed.
I'm pretty sure the movie has been in talks since 2015. Since,
I want to say like FNAF 3 or something crazy. Back when they realized that this was, back when we were getting a game like every year or every couple months.
Yeah, like that was when like
was,
FNAF 1, 2, and 3 were all released like in very quick succession of each other. It did not take long before like talks of a movie deal
optioned. And then it's just been 1,000 years.
It has been in development hell for multiple years, like as it's changed studio hands and everything like that. And like there have definitely been some movies that have sprouted up as a result of this just bouncing
back and forth. The
Banana
Splits movie and Willy's Wonderland.
Although Willy's Wonderland says that it was not inspired by FNAF,
No.
I'm not 100% sure
Let's be
about
real.
that.
The Banana Splits movie is like the "this was popular, let's hop on it" movie.
Yeah, that was
And
very much
the
we filed
Willy's-
off the serial number.
And the Willy's Wonderland movie is like the parody movie of the FNAF movie, despite the FNAF movie not being out yet. And also, if you haven't seen Willy's Wonderland, for one, I think we have like an hour and some change long video on Silver Screams where I just lose my entire mind about it.
It was a reverse
And for
horror
another-
Q&A.
It was a reverse horror Q&A because I just lost my shit. And for another, it is Nick Cage being a silent protagonist, and it's very much a he's not stuck in there with them, they're stuck in there with him scenario, and it's wonderful.
For me,
But for this,
I never get hyped for anything until I see a trailer. However, a couple months back when they announced that Matthew Lillard was going to be playing
William
Afton, I was like, okay, again, it's not happening until we get a trailer, but I am intrigued now. And I don't like Five Nights at Freddy as much as you, but like, we've been in this together for a long while.
Ever
So yeah,
since I watched the video on fucking Rooster Teeth of Michael and Gavin having trouble with it.
how we got into a number of like Let's Players,
Yeah.
and that's how the Game Theory channel really took off. And
How
it's just-
Markiplier really took
Yeah.
off too. Like this was, and that's still a playlist that I put on and just listen to all the way through. It's great work background noise as long as I have my headphones in and no one's asking questions.
I didn't read any of the like novels, but I did read the a handful of the kind of Goosebumps anthology books.
Story compilations.
Yeah, so and those were okay until they decided to just keep making them, and then I walked away.
So anyway, this franchise has some fucking buck-wild complicated lore, but we're here for this. There's a trailer. What the fuck? This was dropped by... We're watching the one that is on the official Universal Pictures YouTube channel, because let's be real, there's 8,000 of them out right now. It is 47 seconds long. It's a teaser, but it's also real because it's on the official Universal Pictures channel. What the fuck?
It's not April 1st.
Yeah!
So this is not a prank as
It's
far
May
as we
16th.
know.
We're recording this the night of, like an hour after it dropped. So let's take a look at the official teaser for the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. Holy shit!
I can't believe we're here.
Click.
Welcome to Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria, where fantasy
They're playing
and
the
fun
music.
come to life. Hit it, guys. If you're watching this video,
Oh my god!
you've been selected as Freddy's newest security guard.
I forgot they cast him in this.
Yeah! That sign outside
Ah.
is just gonna waste power.
We're going to have so much fun together.
What is that? Oh,
The ball pit.
into the ball pit. I gotta say, that looks like fun. I will say, and like things look good. And I don't mean any disrespect that when I
What's
say
with the
this,
sauce?
it's opening the same weekend as Saw 10. I know! Over the moon. I'm eating well that weekend.
You are.
But
I know so many people who were like, double feature? And I'm like, I will join you for half of that. 50% of that double feature I will be here for. And then I will bail on your ass.
I wonder actually if they won't move it around because of the Saw potential competition. But anyway, neither here nor there.
Man.
I mean no disrespect when I say this, but if it wasn't for the celebrity casting choices, I think I would just, like, in my mind, I'm still like, what a great fan-made trailer!
I was like, boy, these models are really accurate. Boy, this looks good.
I will say, when he turns on the power and you get those security monitors coming on, and you get the actual exact same
Angle.
framing and
Yes.
angle from the first game, it's like, okay, that's pretty good.
I am very much, of course, for one, I'm going to go through this with a fine-tooth comb at some point, and for another, I am fully expecting Tumblr to have full gift sets of things, so I'm just going to be sitting in the tags like, show me. Show me, gift makers! Because the scene that stuck with me was that bit outside
With
and
the
the
kids.
5 kids scattering. And I need to go back and look at all of them and see if the outfits are color-coded, but one of them was definitely orange, and I'm like, hello, Foxy.
Oh yeah, that is
Hey,
definitely images taken just before disaster.
I honestly think that that's a metaphor.
Well, I think it's going to be a flashback.
Yeah, maybe
honestly.
flashback, dream sequence, something. Like, but the
Oh,
fact that there is...
nightmare sequence of a security guard falls asleep, has a nightmare sequence with all those kids playing hide and seek with him, jump scare, wakes up, and he's back at work. I'd be down for that.
Markiplier, I'm alive! Just, it looks good. Definitely, again, gonna be going through just bit by bit and being like, this is a lot of really quick cuts. Show me everything. I am legitimately wondering what the fuck is up with the saws, though. Like, that's something.
Again, they're opening the same weekend as Saw. They gotta do something. They gotta do something to compete with Jigsaw.
God damn!
Saw. What a world we live in.
I'm wondering what they're gonna do with this, because we're in not the OG location, because, you know, something lore, something Fredbear's Family Diner. But
No
we are
one can
in
make
the
sense of
location.
the timeline.
That's Matt Pat's job.
Tries, but no one can make sense of it.
It just, someone else can get paid to do that. It won't be me. But the location from the OG game, as we're working with the location from the first game. We're working with the animatronic sets from the first game. We're working with Matthew fucking Lillard. He had better show up on the red carpet for this in a purple suit.
Oh.
Like, that is the opportunity,
My man,
sir.
you
Please
have
lean into
to.
that curve until you are horizontal.
If Jack Black can show up to the Mario premiere
In a
full-on
Bowser suit.
please, Matthew Lillard, please show up in purple threads.
Like, you gotta. You gotta. The character was called the Purple Man before the name William Afton existed. You gotta. Come on. I lost my train of thought. We're working with all of all of the original stuff, essentially. The original one didn't have a story. We had a little bit of lore in the disappearing, reappearing posters, in the missing children, in the murders, but it didn't have a story. Same with the second one. We got a little more. We got a little bit of lore, but there really wasn't a story. 3 was where they kind of started threading things together a bit more. With the 8-bit cutscenes and the the extra things you could do and the good ending, and like that's when we really started getting it. And then they just kept adding with 4 and Sister Location, and I would say it really all came to a head in terms of a Pizzeria Simulator. Like, that was the one that really brought it all together.
Well, that's the climax of the story, too.
And it would have been a solid ending. And then they're like, we're going to go AAA title. And we're like, is that a good idea? And they're like, yes. And then they may or may not have looked at people theorizing potentially correctly about what they were going to do in the AAA title and may or may not have pivoted in development. We don't know. There's some shit left in the code that suggests that might have been the case. Don't ever do that. It doesn't matter if people figured your shit out beforehand. As long as you can execute it, they'll be happy. Don't ever do that. Who cares if the internet's smart? That's half the fun of it, is theorizing. Someone will always guess the twist.
Yeah.
But it's fine. And again, this is all allegedly. There's no proof that that's what happened. But yeah, aside from just... Security Breach is so messy. I love it. It's so messy. But I'm really wondering what they're going to do because we have more human characters involved. Because we have to. We have William Afton involved. Because why fucking wouldn't you? So I'm really wondering what we're going to do for the story for this one. Because again, we're going back to Game 1, and Game 1 had no story. Game 1 was just survive the nights and listen to the phone guy die horribly on night 4, only to get a super possessed message on night 5.
Yes.
And yes, I know that the night 5 is reading passages from something backwards. Like, I read all of that, I get it.
Well, especially from like the later quote-unquote lore reveals. I say that with massive air quotes because again, a lot of this comes from like
so
theory
fucking
channels
messy.
as opposed to like explicit
and
information
tie-in novels and things that may or may not have been retconned.
But
and
it's
God knows.
heavily implied through a bunch of the supplementary material that the security guard from the first one is actually William Afton's son, Michael. And so it'll be interesting to see if that's like a twist reveal in this movie, or if our protagonist has nothing to do with the Afton family in any capacity, and William Afton is just a standalone character here to be the villain.
If I'm remembering this correctly, Scott Cawthon was involved in the scripting.
Oh, I have no idea.
But, like, that could mean anything.
That
could mean anything.
In that he looked at a tagline and they handed him a check and he went, "Looks good."
Again, this was from way at the beginning, but I'd heard he was, like, actually involved in the writing process.
It would not surprise me if he refused to move forward past a certain stage of development without
Script approval.
Without script approval going through him.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know. I have not been following it that closely because, again, I'm sitting here going, like, it doesn't exist until there's a trailer.
And now there's a trailer.
Now there's a trailer.
Holy fuck. It really does feel like an indie project. You're absolutely right in that it feels like an indie project, except for the big name casting.
And Blumhouse...
Because there have been so many incredible FNAF films, animations, fan games. Like, the fan base for this is unbelievable. You guys are fantastic.
And Blumhouse Films is a really good choice, in my opinion, because
Oh, yeah.
they are really, really good at here's, I don't want to say a shoestring budget, but here's a low budget project. And hey, wow, we made all the money back. Wow.
They do that.
Here's Insidious, which we make for, like, I don't know, anywhere from $1 million to $6 million. That was a very low cost movie, comparatively
For
speaking.
less than $10 million.
Yeah, I think it might have been
One
$1
to
million.
two digits.
It's
below
been a minute
most
since I've
large
looked at the
features.
wiki page, but that movie made like $100 million back. So it's just like, yeah, big returns for these guys. And so I think Blumhouse was a really good choice with their particular business model. And also they're very big on, like, even though this is a pre-existing IP, they're very big on, like, original horror movies. Even though they own a lot of big name properties, or have the rights to a lot of big name properties. Blumhouse, along with A24 Pictures, as much as it pains me to admit, have been really great.
I think we need to ease up on A24 a little bit.
No, and I need to take back a lot of what I've said about
I mean, at this point, they own Has-Been Hotels, so
Yeah.
you gotta put your faith in.
Yeah, no, and they've also produced a number of really great movies outside of the horror genre.
Yeah.
Just because I find some of their horror movies a little bit frustratingly pretentious. That doesn't mean that they're bad movies or that they make bad movies. So take what I said just now with a grain of salt. But point being, both of those studios have been responsible for some really amazing original horror content over the course of the last decade.
Oh, yeah.
So I think this franchise is in good hands with Blumhouse. To get a little bit into what FNAF is best at theorizing.
Here's what I'm wondering, because I played it through again and looked at the end, and there is no credits or anything at the end yet of this trailer. It's just the date and the URL.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
it's no. For one, there's gotta be ARG stuff in that URL. It's FNAF.
I was gonna say, what do you think's in the code?
That's not what I'm getting. Always check the source code when it's ARG stuff. Always check the source code. There's always fun shit there. Who knows if they actually will? That's a whole other thing, but like that is the expectation for this noise. What I'm thinking, given that it is releasing opposite of Saw, I don't think it's going for the Saw demographic. FNAF is huge with kids. This, I've seen nothing in this trailer that made me think that it's going to be blood and gore spatters. I think it's all going to be implied.
There was no rating? Oh, shit.
I think we're looking at a PG-13.
Oh,
because
that would be total sense.
It would be stupid not to look at just the fact that FNAF is so big with the
With the kids.
With the 8 to 11, the 8 to 15, you know, that demographic that you really want, the toy buyers, the in-app purchasers, there's no way that they would be dumb enough to make this an R-rated feature and cut off the accessibility for probably their largest fan base. This could be a lot of babies' first horror movie.
Yeah. We didn't even touch on that up until this point, but you're absolutely right. FNAF, in all of its various mediums, has been, for a lot of people, their intro to horror. And
it is the child murder franchise, but boy, does it have a lot of child fans.
Well, it's something kids can relate to in terms of like, oh, that's a thing that's coming after me. It targets people like me specifically, so it's gonna live in my head.
Like, it's accessible, it's creepy, but the thing is, it's very rarely ever super bloody on screen. Like, the most that we get is the kill screen in the first game, is you can see the eyeballs hanging out of the Freddy mask. We have the scooper in Sister Location. We have the pixelated spring lock issue in FNAF 3. Like, there's a lot of really creepy shit, but you can get away with a lot of creepy shit in kids media if it is implied or talked about, but not actually shown.
Yeah, it's
like, yes, this is a man getting his organs ripped out, but it's from his point of view, and you just see the scooper and a blood spatter on screen. Yeah, and you can get away with that in a PG-13.
It's horror
movie, anyway.
But it's tame enough to be accessible to people of all ages.
The implications
in the same way that Goosebumps was when we were kids, and Are You Afraid of the Dark? And, you know, I know that there's other things that are out for kids nowadays.
Like, the implications in here, and a lot of what is discussed, is just turbo fucked. It is so fucked up, but again, because it's discussed and not depicted. It's like, yes, when you die in the first game, they shove you into a suit that shreds you like a meat piñata and puts your eyeballs out the front as the candy prize. But do you actually see that? No! You see Freddy creeping in the corner with his glowing eyes singing Carmen at you, and then the kill screen with your little eyeballs.
Please summarize every bit of this game franchise in the way that you just did just now.
No.
But
we'll be here for hours.
But no.
Everyone who's not familiar with this channel watching this like, why is this reaction 45 minutes long? Welcome to hell.
Well, again, I know we've touched on this before, but the idea that, like, this is something where you actually dig into what's being depicted and you're like, you know, for kids.
Yeah.
My answer is, yeah, it is.
Goosebumps does that a lot. Goosebumps is just body horror, and Goosebumps is also fucked up.
And kids can handle a lot. Obviously, your mileage may vary, and you don't want to throw really hardcore stuff at children, like a Saw 10. But like, every kid is gonna handle horror differently. Like, I wouldn't take, like, if I had kids, I wouldn't take my 4-year-old to go see Evil Dead Rise with me. But
no, because you're not a crazy person.
But like, you know, you start them off with, like, do you think you can handle this? Like, say, The Nightmare Before Christmas. And if they watch that and they like it,
sit with your 7-year-old and you watch Paranorman.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, again, every kid is going to be different. Some kids by age 10, you know, want to watch some of the hardcore stuff, and other kids by age 10 don't want to come near it with a 10-foot pole. So, you know, it's just one of those things where every person, you know, is going to be different. And that applies to adults, too.
Oh,
I'll go see stuff that Katie definitely won't.
For those of you not following Silver Screams, which is her channel and our horror-specific channel, the big conceit of that is that she's the horror, you are the horror person, I am not. And we really play on that. There are some things that I'm super into, and there are some things that are like,
Scream.
you're gonna go see the movie, and we're gonna come back, and then I'm gonna ask you how the movie was, and we're gonna talk about it. Because no, I'm not gonna go see Evil Dead Rises. I could not watch the cheese grater scene in the trailer. We did a reaction to the Red Band trailer. If you'd like to see me just completely transcend reality. Goodbye, everybody!
Look away from the screen and pretend you're anywhere else.
I did that more than once in that trailer. I was just like, nah. Oh boy, nope. I need to sleep tonight. So,
Oh wow, look at the bookcase.
this is one of the few, it's a horror franchise, and yes, even watching Let's Plays at the beginning, I was just like, I'm not okay, but I'm having a lot of fun. So yeah, so the fact that I am just super fucking into this. The reason it's on my channel and not Silver Screams.
Well, again, it's because it's that very accessible horror. You know, in the same way that I would argue that Scream and like Megan and other things where the edges have sort of been sanded off in one way, shape, or form, or like they never had edges
Or
to
they,
begin with
they were
because of,
built without those
like
particular
intentionally,
edges.
yeah. So that they could appeal to a larger demographic, and
The butter knife as opposed to the buzzsaw.
exactly.
The butter knife will still slip and cut you if you're not careful, but it's less inherently threatening.
And like, I know that if you talk to some horror people, they have some words in regards to mainstream horror, but at the same time, and I share in some of those complaints sometimes. I don't need to get into the gatekeeping aspects of it, but the fact of the matter is that mainstream horror is a good thing, because when you appeal to a large demographic, you end up creating a lot of new horror fans and introducing people to a genre they might not have otherwise tried, and they
People
might come
bring
to
in-
love it.
And they bring in new ideas. And they also find things and send things around that maybe the mainstream doesn't know about. Like, here's my favorite indie whatever.
And they themselves may become hardcore fans.
And
maybe
let's
not.
be real, FNAF is an indie game that got popular because, one, it was solidly built, I believe available for free, and for another, on the backs of Let's Players, because we love the Schadenfreude. We loved, like, I don't think I could handle playing FNAF, but I love watching other people do it. And you still consume it, you still get the numbers, it still becomes awareness, and it spreads on to other people. Like, this is a symbiotic relationship here. So we're sitting here looking at a big budget FNAF movie released by Blumhouse, the trailer of which is on the Universal Pictures official YouTube. This started off as a fucking indie game that can fit on a floppy disk and is available for free.
And again,
still.
opening opposite Saw 10, one of the biggest horror franchises.
Which was also
in the
an
world.
extremely low budget beginning, just to see if they could make a movie about two guys stuck in a room.
Yep.
And then it became the flagship of a subgenre.
And again, what a world.
world.
You could say the exact same thing about FNAF, because how many
it
games
did.
were
It became the
inspired-
flagship of a subgenre.
Let them fight!
Let them fight.
But like,
Well, again, Saw 10 is obviously going to have that R rating. I will be gobsmacked if this is not PG-13. I hope
Oh.
it's not PG, because there's only so much you can do. But
yeah, and like it'd be like full on, like, you know, Disney Haunted Mansion. If
Yeah,
it was PG,
like, that's
which
not-
I think FNAF needs a little bit more of an edge than that.
FNAF came with a bite.
Yeah.
This is the child murder franchise. Alright? Like, the child murder franchise. It is built on that. There are so many dead children in this fucking franchise. Evidently, there's only one that he should not have killed, but there are so many dead children. Again, I keep leaning into the lore and getting the one you should not have killed. It's like, shouldn't have killed any of them.
Yeah,
Like,
no.
let's be clear on this. This is not an opinion thing. This is a ridiculous lore joke. Like, the
No.
one you should not have killed. No. The number of children you should have murdered is 0. You should
Yeah,
have murdered
100%.
0 children. What the fuck are you doing? But this is the child murder franchise. So,
But-
like,
I'm wondering.
it has to have an
we
edge.
should
It
probably
murders children.
we should probably wrap up.
Probably
But I do want to ask, do you, and obviously the actual reality of this is going to depend on how financially successful this is.
Oh, yeah.
But do you think they're approaching this film as a one-off, or do you think they are approaching this as this is the start of a franchise?
I think that it will wrap well enough that it can stand on its own. And then the post-credit scene is going to be like, bitches.
Can I tell you how I'd like it to end?
Please.
I
want the post-credit scene to be a jump scare.
I would very much like the ending of the movie to be the security guard, his kid's sidekick, who I assume might be his daughter, might be his younger sister, might be a cousin, who knows. But with his sidekick and the ghost children getting Michael Afton into that back room and him getting spring trapped.
And that is what pushes us over the PG-13 rating.
Only if there's lots of blood.
You watched that little pixelated scene as much as I did. There were fountains of it.
There are ways to do it in which you can still get that PG-13 rating. I'm just telling you, that's how I would like the movie to end, is him getting spring trapped and then we have our denouement, whatever. But I would like that to be the climax of the story.
Fair. And then your stinger scene is the Springtrap animatronic getting back up.
Doing that, like,
Doing
that
the
twitching
twitching and
thing
then standing.
from the FNAF 3 trailer.
Yep.
Because Springtrap is my favorite.
I know. I don't know if we'll get Springtrap in this one unless we get into a little Golden Freddy, Golden Bonnie. Again, who the fuck knows? I am waiting
see.
for a trailer so we can actually see what the story might be here. Because again, there's no story in the first one. There's lore, but no story. So, who knows? I would love for our mid-credits scene, because everyone has like a fucking mid-credits, post-credits, whatever. I just legitimately need it to be an audience-facing jump scare. A la classic-ass Five Nights at Freddy's, where it's just grabbing the screen and...
I think story-wise, the simpler the better. I'm just picturing security guard, who may or may not be Afton's son, needs money. You know, again, that could be a twist. Needs money to support...
Needing money is not a twist, that's capitalism.
No,
I know what you mean.
the son.
The phrasing.
But yeah, needs money because he has to take care of this person who may or may not be his daughter or sister.
Yeah.
And so gets a job, you know, a shitty job being a security guard, but it's all he can get. And then spooky shenanigans start to happen. I could also see it being like an urban explorer, like breaking into this place on like a dare, and then shenanigans happen once he turns the power back on.
Because I'm also thinking, like, where is this set? This is not a New York, Los Angeles sort of New York, Los Angeles, Chicago. Like, this does not strike me as it's going to take place in a big city movie. This strikes me as a Midwest drive-through town
Or
sort
just
of set.
generally small town America anywhere.
Yeah.
Anywhere
And
in the
again,
USA.
this is what Willy's Wonderland did, but that's always what it's kind of struck me as. Like, a place like this wouldn't be able to stick around in some place like Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, where the real estate itself would be, like, a Spirit Halloween store would move in. Got the Spirit Halloween movie. And then it would be repurposed for something else. Like, maybe we would wind up with FNAF 3 and the FNAF-based amusement walkthrough, ride-through, whatever. But, like, this is not a big city setting. This is not a big city movie. If they try to tell me this is taking place in Los Angeles, I am going to call them a liar.
Things don't stay abandoned in the same way in larger cities that they do in smaller towns. That's not to say that there aren't abandoned buildings in Los Angeles.
Oh,
there
yeah.
absolutely are.
Oh, yeah. But something like this with a story and with news, like with press, because, like, yeah, the whole, yes, 5 children went missing, and then animatronics started bleeding. Like, that doesn't stay quiet. in a city like LA. That's the sort of thing where in a smaller town they would definitely be like, yeah, nobody goes in there because it's fucked and haunted and no one does it. And in LA it would be like, we need space. Tear that shit down, we're putting in another IKEA.
And in a small town, when something horrible happens, it's like, we all acknowledge it, that horrible thing happened, and now we choose to never speak of it again, and we just like quietly bury it.
Yep.
Whereas in Los Angeles and like other big cities, it's like something horrible happened. Oh my god, that's terrible. Moving on now. It's a very
like,
different type of coping mechanism
where people go and dig into it, and like I'm still thinking of the hotel in downtown LA.
Oh, that's messed up. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
The Cecil?
Like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We should
don't look that up if you don't want to see.
We should definitely wrap up. We're talking about real world shit.
But that's kind of what I'm saying. Is that like in a big city, life goes on. It continues. You reuse that real estate, or people come and just be like, I want to see it. I want to see what it was like. Like, you know, the dark side of true crime fandom. Whereas smaller towns, like, yes, we are abandoning that building. Yes, it is absolutely be fucking. Yeah, we left the animatronics inside. No one. No. Having lived in both small towns and the big city, it's just like,
get very different flavors of dealing with that issue.
Extremely different flavors of how do you deal with this. And again, going back to, this is the child murder franchise. There's the, it's horror aimed at kids, and you know, it's got a little less edge, and then you step back as an adult and you go,
okay, so to bring it back a little bit. And to wrap up.
Yes, we gotta.
Is there anything in particular you want from this movie? Outside of it just being a competent film adaptation. Because we are past the point of like video game adaptations are not good. We are past that point.
Oh my god, yes. We've had 2 Sonic movies and a Mario movie. Everyone shut the fuck up.
Well, and other stuff too.
Pikachu.
And Last of Us. And you know, just like again, just there's lots and lots. And I didn't see it, but I hear Uncharted was fine. And there's a lot of video game movies that are just fine.
You can't hide behind video game adaptation immediately comes in with the thinking of it in terms of like golf, a handicap.
Yeah.
Like comes in with, oh well, you know, it's
like
an
we're working on a
adaptation.
deficit. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes. Like I think in sports it's still called. Yeah. Anyway, terminology. It will not give me the mangle, but I want the mangle. Like that's not
Mangle's
what this
your
is.
favorite, yeah.
Mangle is my favorite! Hey, the child murder franchise, which one did you go for? The fucked up ceiling spider fox!
I want the trash child.
The one that speaks in AOL dial-up. The literal take apart and put back together attraction with the bow tie. That bitch. That's my favorite.
She cosplayed it once. It was great.
I did. I got my cousin who has makeup artist skills to do the full-on face paint, and I scared the shit out of people at Anime Expo. I need to find those photos. It was great. It's not going to give me the mangle. I know it won't, but my heart. Yeah, I just want a fucking competent movie. Just give me I'll have more to say when we have an actual trailer. And we will at some point have an actual, probably 1.5, 2 minutes long trailer. And then we'll be able to sit down and be like, what lore are we keeping? What did we toss out and what are we changing? Like, this is such a spaghetti mess of lore. You pick 3 noodles and the rest of it's like... Okay.
I'm right there with you. I want a decent story. Again, probably the simpler the better to not like get bogged down with stuff. I would like Springtrap at the end. And just as little teeny Easter eggs, again, we don't have to make a big deal about it, but a little teeny Easter egg, I would like a thing of exotic butters, and I would like the little vampire
the vampire soap opera?
Yes, just playing on a TV somewhere. Again, Clara. Moving on. Like, just, it's there for a second, and then we've moved on.
I'm very happy that Chica's cupcake looks as fucking possessed as it should, because the cupcake is fucked. We need the fan. Fan favorite character, the fan.
Do you think there's going to be somebody on the phone?
We gotta have a phone guy. Like, that was the staple of the franchise. for a while, the person that people thought was William Afton before we figured out, nope, not the same. Gotta have phone guy, gotta have some form of messages left. I had something and I lost it. Like, I had another little Easter egg, and we need a blink and you miss it Golden Freddy. I don't give a shit if they explain it. If that's gonna be part of the lore and what we're working with, because there were 5 children, amazing, let's go. If we just have a couple of frames of Golden Freddy subsuming the movie with "It's me" across the screen, and then they just whole ass don't explain it, and it's something that happened to the audience, not the characters, I'd be here for that.
We're gonna have to rewatch it because I thought the Freddy, or one of the Freddys in this was yellow.
Maybe. Again, I'm here for Golden Freddy, and the whole shtick for that is, 1, crashes the fucking game if you don't do a flip down. And 2, no endoskeleton in that one, which is why it's not walking around.
Which is why it's just this limp.
Cassidy over here like, bitch! There are gonna be people who haven't done the really deep lore, who just listen to all of these weird things we say and go, what the fuck are you talking about? And the answer is, we barely know.
I cannot imagine
That is insane.
what someone without context for this franchise would think of the phrase exotic butters.
I still have that prop in my closet. I cosplayed as Eggs Benedict once, and I made an exotic butters prop, and I still have it.
So,
Maybe I can break it out after the movie drops.
you should 100% go to the theater and cosplay.
Yes, and also no.
I won't, but you 100%
Oh,
should.
if I'm pulling out the Mangle cosplay for this, you are doing something.
Could I hold the basket of exotic butters?
Yes. Yes.
We'll figure something
I
out, but we
still-
are absolutely going on opening weekend.
I still have some of the name tags that say, hello, my name is Eggs Benedict. You best commit.
I will.
Fuck yeah, let's go.
And we are absolutely going on opening night.
Of course, unless there is something else going on, because God knows that is Halloween weekend and that is going to be just fraught. We'll go on Thursday. There's always a Thursday
exactly.
release. Okay.
That's what I mean.
Gotta figure it out. All right. Damn. Okay.
I'm Megan. You guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Menguin. That's TheMenguin. As we've discussed, I also have a YouTube channel called Silver Screams, where we talk about horror things. That's not on, unless Katie calls dibs.
And 95% of the horror discussion by volume is on Silver Screams. Occasionally I just lose my entire mind over a franchise, and then it winds up living here.
Which fills my heart with a lot of joy.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, and I also have a Lost retrospective podcast called No Love Lost, where my co-host Will Link loves Lost, and I don't. We talk about it.
And I'm Katie. You can feel...
Find.
You can feel... You can follow me all over the social medias and on Twitch at Kiaxet. That is Kiaxet. I am also a co-host on Nighttime at the Nerd Bar, a weekly show I do with a completely different press partner, actually. That is Monday. That streams live Mondays at 7:30 p.m. Pacific on the Fanversation YouTube channel. We have fun. We talk about so much shit. We talk about anime. We go into Overwatch League. We talk about like just geeky shit. We have a really good time. So join us for that. It's very fun. I have also done a number of red carpet interviews available on that channel, including the Ruby Justice League movie premiere and most recently the Knights of the Zodiac movie premiere. I got to interview Sean Bean.
Very cool.
It happened. There's proof. It's on that channel. So yeah, we have a very good time. If you want to support this channel, we have a Patreon that gets you Rooster Teeth stuff early. We have a Ko-Fi if you want to throw a couple bucks our way. We do commissions, not request commissions. All of that information is available in the description below, along with all those nice little buttons you should hit because the algorithm is just fucking possessed. The algorithm is the 6th animatronic. Like, the algorithm makes less sense than FNAF lore. All I know is you gotta feed it the buttons to make it happy. keep it from jump scaring. Wind the fucking music box to keep the algorithm from killing us all.
Like, wind the music box.
Like, wind the
subscribe,
music box, subscribe.
check the cameras. Ding.
Oh, hit the bell, put the mask on. That's FNAF 2. Again, anyone who's not familiar with the lore and is just watching this is going, what the fuck are you talking about?
Sound insane.
I mean... Anyway, as always, make sure you vote in your local elections. Check your voter registration. Even if you think you're registered, definitely check. People get booted off registration all the time for no good goddamn reason. So check your voter registration, vote in your local elections. It is important, and support your local libraries. That includes checking out books, just walking through the door and using the facilities, hang out there for a little bit to study or write or get job assistance or whatever, using whatever app your library uses. Ours uses Hoopla to do ebooks and podcasts and audiobooks, just anything they have online there. So yeah, get yourself a library card, support your local library. They're wonderful. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye. Da 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 da. Boom!